What's up, guys? Hopefully all of you are doing well. I hope you had a great start to the new year. Today I decided to start off our recipes for 2017 with a vegetable that can go overlooked and just sometimes just dismissed for having no flavor, but we're going to give it some. We're going to be talking about 3 ways to prepare cauliflower. Let's get into it. First up, we're going to talk about cauliflower puree. Now, this is great in place of mashed potatoes. What I'm doing here is I'm just going to core the cauliflower, break it up in large pieces, and then I washed it. Then I brought it back to my cutting board, and I broke it into smaller pieces. Because we're going to boil it, I just want to make sure the pieces are relatively even so they all get cooked at the same time. Next, I'm going to take the cauliflower and put it into some chicken stock that I have put in a pot over medium-high heat. And I'm just going to let that come up to a boil. It only takes about 5 to 10 minutes, just until it's tender so that we can puree it. I was watching a program on TV a couple of years ago, and I remember First Lady Michelle Obama mentioning that she requested that the White House chef mix mashed potatoes and pureed cauliflower together, half and half. That way they wouldn't eat as many mashed potatoes, or it wouldn't be as quote-unquote rich. And it'll help give you some variety to your menus when you're cooking at home for your family. So the cauliflower has come out of the chicken stock, and be sure and hold about a couple of cups back just in case you need it to puree with the cauliflower in the food processor. You just want to be able to have it as smooth as possible. So I'm just going to go ahead and add that in, and I pureed it, and this is what it looks like without any liquid so far. Then I'm going to add maybe a couple of tablespoons, and you just need to eyeball it and get it to the consistency that you want. Yeah, you'll be able to see just the difference that those couple of tablespoons that I added will make. See how smooth it is now at this point? And then you can move on and add in whatever you like. I'm just going to add a couple of tablespoons of butter, and you can season this up any way you like. If you want to keep it light, then you would do like what I'm doing here right now. Or you can add some sour cream. If you want to keep it even lighter than that, add some Greek yogurt, roasted garlic, Parmesan cheese. Whatever you would do to mashed potatoes, you can go ahead and follow through with this cauliflower puree. For the exact measurements to this recipe, along with others, check out gdseasoning.com. The link will be below in the description. Next up, we have a really flavorful recipe, and that's our Sriracha roasted cauliflower. Here I'm just going to take some cauliflower that's already been washed and ready to go. I'm just going to cut it into pieces that are about the same size because we're going to roast it in a very hot oven. I'm going to cover this whole head of cauliflower with about 3 tablespoons. I could have given it another tablespoon, but it's about 3 tablespoons of grapeseed oil, and then I'm going to load it up with lots of sriracha. But you could do this to taste. This is not a measurement to this ingredient. Go ahead and do it to your taste, and then I'm just going to toss it well until all the cauliflower is covered. Now I'm going to be using this roasted cauliflower in another recipe, so I'm going to season it up with some herbs, some Mexican oregano, and some thyme. And I'm just going to give that a toss. We're not adding any salt because the sriracha has salt already in it. So we're just going to roast this in a very hot oven of 450 degrees for about 18 to 20 minutes. When I preheated the oven, I also stuck one of my less attractive pans in there to get nice and hot to do the roasting. Take a listen. That's the sound we want to hear. We want all of the cauliflower to come in contact with the pan so it gets nice and hot. We can get a good char on it, and the roasting process starts right then. Once the cauliflower has been in for about 10 minutes, go in and turn it over so that we can have more char on the other sides of the vegetable itself. Now you can see why I said use your less attractive pans, right? Look how ugly. But that's okay. We want that pan nice and hot, and that's where we get that good char from and that flavor. You can serve this Sriracha roasted cauliflower as a side dish or even as a main dish. I'm going to show you how to do that in another video. Stay tuned. Our third and final way that we're going to be preparing cauliflower is riced cauliflower, and we're going to be making a fried riced cauliflower. Now they do sell this cauliflower in the freezer section of some stores for those of you who just don't want to be bothered with this process. However, it doesn't take all that much. You just chop it up very small into small pieces like grains of rice. And in this hot pan over medium-high heat, I have about 3 tablespoons of grapeseed oil and about 2 teaspoons of sesame oil. You see I added it right into the hot pan. I'm going to add a little soy sauce. That's a low sodium soy sauce to the pan. Add that to taste, okay? You don't have to go by my recipe. I'm going to add some frozen peas, carrots, and corn and toss that around. And you're just going to do that. It only takes literally like 5 minutes. It doesn't take long at all. And then at the very end, I added about a clove of garlic and tossed that around. So this is some good ideas for if you guys are trying to minimize rice consumption or wherever you would use rice in a recipe, you could go ahead and use some riced cauliflower. It really tastes good, and like I said, it doesn't take a lot of time at all. It's so easy to do. Hopefully you guys will be willing. If you're not willing to attempt all 3 recipes, at least one of them. They're really easy to do. And after I was done filming, I just broiled a piece of halibut with some lemon pepper, threw that right on top of this rice cauliflower. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it when you come cook with me and hang out. Don't forget this recipe and others can be found at gdseasoning.com. And I'll see you guys next time.